Welcome to WT SNI Hackathon, Kenya Wildlife Trust in collaboration with Sovereign Nature Initiative. We've been hacking for about a month, and today is our pitch session. We're going to be hearing from 8 teams with 7-minute pitches. We're going to go fast, and we're going to hear amazing big ideas, all with the intention of supporting the coexistence of predators and humans in the Masai Mara, where Kenya Wildlife Trust is doing incredible work. My name is Seth Boakley. I am the Director of Creative Engagement at Sovereign Nature Initiative. We're an Amsterdam-based nonprofit, but we're all around the world, and we're connected with folks working in technology, law, theory, and art, all designed to think in a new way about the value of nature, using new technologies and using the cutting edge of conservation and ecology and economy. And so in that, we're so delighted to be working hand in hand with Kenya Wildlife Trust, a truly incredible organization. You'll hear a little bit more about them shortly. And our task here has been to gather the best teams from around the world to meet remotely here and collaborate on new technologies addressing problems posed by Kenya Wildlife Trust in their work with lions and predators in the Masai Mara in Kenya. Just a couple of housekeeping things as we get started. So I mentioned, again, we'll have 7-minute pitches from 8 teams, and we'll begin in a few minutes. I'll hand over the microphone to Catherine, the CEO of Sovereign Nature Initiative.
Thank you, Seth. Yes, welcome to this Sovereign Nature Initiative Kenya Wildlife Trust Hackathon pitch session. As Seth has stated, my name is Catherine Bischoff. I am lucky to lead the Sovereign Nature Initiative, a nonprofit foundation seeking to achieve a thriving planet by radically reconfiguring nature's value. We are located at this intersection of ecology, emerging tech, and economy, and the goal is to bring technologists, scientists, creatives, activists, and the wider community together with experts in the field, conservationists and nature stewards who are dedicated to a better coexistence with the non-human world. If I can use a metaphor from nature, we see ourselves as the central nervous system for a living organism that is a radically experimental environmental movement. We envision decentralized ecological collaboration, much like a rhizomatic or fungal network on a global scale. This particular hackathon call with our partners at the Kenya Wildlife Trust focused on predator protection and conflict mitigation, as well as lion identification and data management in the Masai Mara specifically. We posed the following questions. How can we use Web3 technology to support a synergetic relationship between herders and predators? What tech might be used to incentivize nature stewards for their conservation efforts? And can emerging tech be in true service to indigenous communities' cohabitation with wildlife? And we're very much looking forward to listening to the pitches and seeing some bold solutions to these challenges. Congrats to all the teams for participating. We really appreciate you committing your time over this last month. We've hoped you enjoyed it and made some great connections and have grown through this experience. I'd especially like to extend my deep gratitude to our judges, Irene Imoke from the Kenya Wildlife Trust, Memo Some from the Wild Now Foundation, Caroline Ngueno from the Born Free Foundation, and Carl Beach from Regenerative Space, as well as the teams behind those organizations. Another thanks goes out to our longtime Metaverse and Hackathon partner, Odyssey Momentum, and specifically Geneviève for her tireless work navigating and cheering on all the teams in this collaborative environment. Adam Jenkins from Esri, who provided incredible support as well as free access to ArcGIS licenses. And none of this would be possible, of course, without the massive effort of the SNI team. I really applaud you for executing another great hackathon. Last, and certainly not least, Ocean Protocol and the Kuzama Treasury for providing generous bounties to the winning teams. Before we get to the pitches, I'd like to pass the floor to Alessandro Mazzi, who is our head of partnerships and field research, and he's going to share some insights about how we got into this beautiful partnership with the Kenya Wildlife Trust.
Thanks, Catherine. Beautiful words. Where can I start? Basically, I don't know if the teams know the story, but around a year ago, we were put in touch with the Kenya Wildlife Trust by Andreas Fox, who is one of the board members. And first of all, we're incredibly grateful for that introduction. Andreas, if you're listening on YouTube, thank you so much. We were looking at the time a year ago for a nature steward, as we call it. So an organization that is taking care of a complex biodiverse ecosystem that was interested to experiment with emerging technologies to help and support their efforts. When we were introduced to KWT, we learned from the start that their approach to conservation was one that we were very much aligned with. The Kenya Wildlife Trust looks at the interests of humans and non-humans in a very, they don't see the separations between them. And the way they work is to look at the interests and desires of both humans and non-humans in an equal way. The emphasis that they put, and I saw it firsthand when I went to visit the Masai Mara and their work, is pretty incredible. The amount of work they put on community building and on cutting edge research was really amazing to witness. I'm incredibly thankful for the team for hosting me in the Masai Mara, for showing me your work. And I honestly, I can name them all. I can name Calvin, for instance, for driving me around one morning and showing me how he uses all these technologies, to Irene for hosting me in Nairobi several times to have conversations with us, Felixi for spending incredible time and also to be very helpful to teams and to bringing forward other projects that we are now engaged with. So thank you so much to the KWT team and PCP team, Michael, Dominic, Niels, and all the team that have taken care of me. And I guess last note is that we both learn from each other. I believe that KWT has learned a lot about how new technologies could help them, right? And what is required, from opening data to having to learn how to use all these new sophisticated technologies. And from our side, we learned what does conservation mean and what could mean in the future, because we are literally a partner up, and I'm confident to say with probably the best organization in conservation of predators in the world. So super honored and humbled by for this opportunity.
Thank you, Alessandro, for your leadership. It's really inspiring, and we are looking at the future of conservation. It's an intergenerational conversation. It's an international conversation. Thanks again to our judges, Irene, Catherine, Some, Caroline, Craig, for being here and listening to these pitches today. And I just want to say, this has been a beautiful community effort. It's also a competition, so we're going to get into it now. There will be winners, winning bounties, cash and coins, and there are rewards to the winners. So I know there's a spirit of competition and everyone's eager to get on deck and give it their best shot. And I want to mention too, the judges will be choosing a winner from both of the challenges, the Lion Identification Challenge and the Conflict Mitigation Challenge. But we always encourage the technologies being developed to continue. Those that win and those that don't today are all technologies, embryonic, new, radical, wild, and we hope that they all develop further in dialogue with one another and with us. The spirit of this challenge is to make innovation accessible. So here we go. We're going to get started with Antara Pride.
So we are Antara Pride. We are a group of 4 ladies who are passionate about software development. We got into this hackathon as a challenge for us to learn something new, and it has been an exciting experience learning and researching about lions and understanding that they are the apex predators. They control other mesopredators and herbivores within the ecosystem, and that there is need to have proper identification methods that lead to proper conservation of these animals. And that led us to our big question, which is, how might we improve the efficiency of the lion identification process in the Mara Reserve in order to protect and balance the ecosystem? With this guide, we decided to build an identification system using computer vision, which is able to identify the lions using their unique features, which are their whisker spot, scars, and tears. We trained our system using 2 algorithms, which is the ORB algorithm and the brute force matcher. The ORB algorithm is able to detect and extract key features of an image and uses brute force matcher, which takes the descriptors of each image and matches the image in their datasets. We decided to execute our program on an IoT device, which is a Raspberry Pi. This is a small computer that integrates the CPU and GPU in a single integrated circuit to the RAM. We used an IoT device for this project because we were considering the mobility of the solution, and the ORB algorithm and the brute force matcher because of its matching performance and computation cost. Our system is why our system. It is portable. It's a portable device which allows the user to use it easily while in the field, and it's also cutting. No Wi-Fi or internet expenses are incurred since it can be used offline. And with just one demonstration to a user, they can be able to adapt to it quickly. Some of the challenges we faced while using this system was slow processing in the images, but we were able to identify and train our system to recognize at least 8 lions from different prides. And with this challenge, we decided to iterate quickly and modify our system using the CNN model, which is currently being built, and we hope to share it once it's done. Thank you.
My name is Lumona Mulengwa, and I am the founder of Gokijani. So basically, Gokijani, yes, we're addressing the Lion ID problem, and how we are actually addressing it is basically we are looking at it at the angle of trying to involve two people: the tech, and of course the community. So we are building a tech system that can basically gather information from the KWT, the dataset that have been collected. So basically, we are using those datasets, and we have 7 different sets of models that are focusing on different parts of Lion, and we are also combining the results to be able to identify one lion. And from this information, you can be able to gather things like the scars maybe on the ears or the whisker spots, the nose, the coloration of the nose, which can help us also to know about the age, and of course also the location of where this lion was taken from. And I think we're also incorporating the community in the aspect of we have an app that is called Ingonyama. And how we are using it is that with this application, it has a model of lion identification. So when someone takes a photo of it, especially like a tourist takes a photo of a lion, they can be able to upload it, and the information like the location of where this photo was taken, and of course also like with the photo and the date and time of this lion, then that information will be uploaded. When this person has access to internet, they can upload it to the database, and the photo will go through the same streams of the 7 different models. The parts will be extracted, and identification will be done, and the results will be scanned through the identified lion database to see if it matches any of the identified lion. And if it doesn't match, this information will be saved in a different data set of lions which are not yet identified. And those information includes the photo and the location of where this lion is. So in due time, we will be able to have an information of lions, of maybe how many lions that have been seen by these tourists that are not yet identified, which also can help in mapping out where the KWT crew can do their patrol to go and take photos, so they can be able to map out and strategize their procedure. And also another thing, if a tourist takes a photo and uploads that photo, and it's a photo of a lion which is already identified, the other information that will be added to that same lion document will be things like the number of visibility, the location where it was seen, and in time can be in time you can have like series of information, like things like the visibility, how many times was it seen and where was it seen. So also this will help us know things like the movement of this lion, how it's moving and all. Yeah. And yeah, so basically that's the whole architecture of this thing. And lastly, what we're doing, we are trying to come up with a cluster around this thing and try to see the relation between each individual lion from the data that we have already collected from this scanning and all kind of things. So things like the location between this lion and this other lion, how they're moving. Also, we can be able to come up with some statisticals and scientific findings depending on how they relate to each other. So basically, that is clustering, and also this we can be able to generate things like family trees and things like and things like their movement, how they're moving, and hopefully also from there we can also know exactly what are the key factors that are affecting their decline, and of course how to mitigate that. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we are the POs, and Cynthia was our project manager, and Shem and I were working on the technical part. So our solution is an image search engine for lions using SIFT algorithm. So the search engine will work as a normal web search engine where you will upload an image of a lion, and then you will the model will check it against the existing images on the database, and then if there's a match, the results will be highlighted, showing the lions that are already in the database. And this solution can be scaled to other wildlife like cheetahs, since the algorithm is efficient enough and it runs well, and it's promising because it highlights the key features of an image. So why did we go with SIFT? So SIFT stands for Scale Invariant Feature Transform, where its major advantage is on the locality. So it tries to identify the local features and matches unique features of an image against the other. And then, so the algorithm scales the image, and then now after scaling, it pinpoints the unique features that the image has. So for instance, for lions have different shapes, the heads, the faces, and then mostly there are cuts on the ears and also spots on the face, like so different lions have unique features. So the SIFT algorithm tries to scale to a certain region uh, that contains the highest amount of unique features, and then after that it tries to merge that scale image of the lion against the other lions that already existing for our case. So how it works, so objects are meaningful only at a certain scale, as I said. So you might see a perfectly image from afar. Lions look similar, but once you scale them up close, you are able to see those definitive features that distinguish one lion against the other. So that's how SIFT works. It tries to look for unique features, to identify those unique features, and then matches those unique features of different objects. For our case, the lions, and then it highlights the images that have there is a number of similarity. So the challenge with this SIFT that we found out is that you have to, for our model, our solution, we had to manually pick a particular location where we see that there's a unique feature, and you focused on the face area of the lions, as you will see shortly. So for the model, we were able to test against a few data images that you had provided. So this is the first one, and So the outcome of that, we scaled at the left ear, the right ear of the lion, and then it was able to find the match because, okay, these ones are so similar, but there are different images of the same lion. So we tested again with another lion. So this one is and then the results were, okay. Yeah, this is the same lion, as you can see from the head, the shape of the head. You can see that it's the same lion. So the sift was able to identify correctly the face of the lion, or identify the lion rather. So the next step is to make a web application using Flask, and then we'll be able to deploy the model and also to try and find a way to improve the accuracy of this model.
Hello, everyone. Yannick from Team 7 speaking. We also tried to tackle the line identification challenge, and we took the liberty to expand the challenge a little bit. Our idea was to create a system that allows us to monitor the general biodiversity of the Masai Mara, with also options of going deeper into the knowledge about lions and other predators present. We base our whole system on a technology called eDNA analysis, which is nothing but animals and plants leaving DNA traces in nature. And those can be found in water. That is the most easy way. There are others, but we are going to use water that is sampled and in a lab analyzed on the species that are present in this ecosystem. With our proposed solution, we want to support the KWT and their partners in understanding better the habitat in their area of interest, meaning the Masai Mara. And we seek to combine data-driven and people-driven approaches in one platform. In a more sophisticated analysis down the line, we could also expand the same system to create more complex analysis and identify, for example, movement, presence, and even maybe individual lions in the Masai Mara. Linking into the traditional ways of identifying lions, such as spatial temporal analysis of the Masai Mara, the lions present could support traditional trackers and help them do their job more effectively. How does the finding predators in the Masai Mara work? So it's pretty simple, and I'm going to show you in our app in a bit. You basically define an area of interest, or a polygon, as you call it on a map. You select the desired sampling outcome, what you want to know. Say you want to know something about mammals or birds present. You take a sample, you analyze it in the lab, and you identify the species present in this sample. And then we can map this data and combine it with other data sets of interest. The sampling procedure itself is actually pretty easy. We envision putting the tasks, the sampling tasks or the requests into an application such as Orgo, also present in this hackathon. And you basically send someone to, for example, a waterhole or a river, and you pump some water through a filter. And then you send that filter into the lab, and it is processed, and the data is delivered. And what is special about the lab that we intend to collaborate with, or that we are collaborating with, to be exact, is that they also tokenize this data. The raw data is open data, and there is an NFT representing that data that could also be transferred, or the ownership of the data can be transferred to KWT, which leads to potential options for monetizing that data further down the line. We also thought about the whole business process that is connected to this, and this could be discussed in separate discussions after the hackathon. But basically, there is an end-to-end business case that could be built or will be built upon this. Now I want to share what we actually built, the application. So just to explain a little bit, what we see here in the background is Kenya. And here, this is the Masai Mara that we divided into polygons. And what we created is sample data or mock data for this area, where you can click into the polygon, and on the left here, you see the species that got detected in the biodiversity analysis. And the same is true for all the polygons here in the Masai Mara. And we also created a so-called lion mode that you can toggle, where just the data on lions is present in this. Now going back to the presentation, for a pilot, the KWT or whoever has interest in this data could define water sources, water holes, or other water bodies present in the Masai Mara. We suggest maybe 3 to 4, and we could define a first sampling or a first sample batch that then would be analyzed and displayed into the map, removing the mock data and replacing it with actual real data. We are Team 7. My tech lead and wizard, everything with keyboards, is Yves. He's sitting right next to me. You can't see him, unfortunately. And myself, founder and CEO at 7, and everything else that you demanded for the pitch is present in the last slide. Thank you very much for your attention.
And so our next challenge, we're going to be hearing from 4 teams who have tackled conflict mitigation. And this challenge is, of course, about conflicts between Masai Mara farmers and wildlife, which have intensified due to population growth and desertification. And these conflicts have reached a point that could lead to predator extinction, these predators that are of concern for Kenya Wildlife Trust. There is a complex ecosystem, herders and folks that live alongside the Masai Mara and at the border of that area. These teams are looking at ways to mitigate this conflict, and so to preserve the balance of the ecosystems and this precious life that exists there, lions and other predators. So, with all that said, we're going to go now to the BLCK IoT team first to present on conflict mitigation, and then to Lua, and then Twiga, and then Orgo. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to BLCK IoT.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bradley from the BLCK team, and we're a team that's building sensor solutions on the Helium network on the aspect of conflict mitigation. So a question you might ask is, what is the Helium network? Well, the Helium network is a long-range, low-power network that connects sensors to the internet. Sensors range from pet trackers to air quality monitors and many more. So for the hackathon, we were faced with the challenge of conflict mitigation. We needed to identify where it happens so we can know how to tackle it. The identified locations could be classified into 2 groups, inside the boma and then the rest outside the boma. For inside the boma, after Michael from KWT's presentation, it was clear that a chain link fence would solve the majority of the incidents. So we moved on to tackle the other locations and narrowed them down to the Conservancy Reserve border. With that, we moved on to the how. A geofence would defining the boundaries of the reserve would be implemented. This would be used to alert the herders of when they are grazing a bit too close to the park's boundary and inform them when the wildlife is nearby. Movement analysis could be done in the event that we collect adequate data. We could have we could create fairly accurate estimates on where the predators would be. Into the hardware side, we have the gateway, the asset tracker, and the BLE tag and the alert tag. The gateway would be installed in hotels, and the asset tracker would be on a cow, and a BLE tag would be integrated into a lion's collar, and the alert tag would be held by the herder. The gateway creates the sensor network, the LoRaWAN network, through the antenna for the functioning of these other devices. The asset tracker tracks the location of the cattle. The BLE tag is into the lion's collar and is checked for proximity by the asset tracker. So BLE is Bluetooth. So when it's within 150 meters of the asset tracker, notification could be sent. And moving on to the coverage map, after choosing on locations for gateway deployments, we chose hotels which are the yellow points on the map. With just a few deployments, we were able to cover majority of the map and fully cover areas where conflict has been reported, the indicated circles. And as said, the hotel points are the yellow dot. Here we have a flowchart showing how everything works together. So let's break it down. The tracker, which is collared to the cow, registers the cow's location, checks for BLE tags, which are integrated in the lion's collar. The encrypted data is then transmitted over LoRa to the gateway, then over the internet to a Helium server, which is then decoded and transmitted to a dashboard platform such as Tago.io. On Tago.io, the data is visualized on various analyses. Is performed, such as if the geofence of the reserve has been breached or if a lion tag has been detected, which in turn triggers an alert to notify both the herder and the lion ambassador. The tracker also has a gyroscope. Imagine a gyroscope like something like a speed governor, which when it moves too fast, an alert is sent. So it reports erratic movement, such as if a cow is running away from something and or has fallen. And said alert would be transmitted in turn to the herder and or the lion ambassador. For the dashboard implemented, we can see a geofence and the location last reported by the tracker, which also records environmental temperature, say 19 degrees Celsius. In conclusion, we have seen how a short range network, Bluetooth, can be used in conjunction with a long range network, LoRa on the Helium network, in conflict mitigation through alert systems, which would allow the herders to take necessary actions to deter any wildlife that could be a threat to their cattle. There are various secondary applications possible on the Helium network beyond asset tracking, such as water management, environment sensing, and many more that could facilitate acquisition of chain link fences through data commercialization. We encourage you to visit the link displayed and are grateful for the opportunity to present this to you all. Thank you, and feel free to contact us should you bear any questions, queries, or comments. I have been Bradley Azagele, and let's take Laura to the line.
I want to mention kind of what's coming up next. Our judges will be evaluating these pitches directly after the session today, and we will be announcing the winners on Wednesday in an event that's going to be at 6:00 p.m. So 1800 hours East Africa time, Nairobi time. That'll be this coming Wednesday, 9th of November. And we hope everyone will tune in and call back into this same location here in Momentum, and we'll announce the winners. And we'll also use a little bit of that time to share a project that we've been developing in parallel. Maybe this is a good time to mention it, because the project Tracing the Wild is a digital art project and a data story sculpture is what we're calling it. And it's actually a piece that's a work in progress, a collaboration between Sovereign Nature Initiative and Nairobi Design Week, and a collaboration also with the data from KWT and designed to benefit KWT. So in parallel to these technology solutions, we also have an art project that is combining some of the same conflict data around where these conflicts between herders and predators occur, and combining that data with stories of lions. We're grateful that Alessandro from our team and Some from our judging panel, along with other collaborators within KWT, have been gathering stories from multiple perspectives on the significance of lions in their community and to them personally, so that those kind of intimate stories of what do lions mean to the people who live alongside them can be placed in dialogue with this data in an interactive art project.
All right, thank you. So this is Team Twiga. Twiga is Swahili for giraffe. That's why we have that there. Our product is called Tenebo. Tenebo is Maasai for friends. Okay, so the problem we're tackling is human-wildlife conflict. And basically, from the presentations we got from KWT experts, we came to understand that the issue, the biggest vulnerability that causes a loss of livestock is due to bomas that are not that secure. So we chose to solve the problem by basically finding ways of providing funding, sourcing funds for this initiative. So what our system does is that we use proceeds from Mara and predator adoption NFTs to subsidize the reinforcement of Maasai bomas, making the Maasai happy and Mara predators safe from human conflict. So basically, what we do is that we create these NFTs that are available for friends of the Mara, people who have either visited the Mara before or are looking to visit, or just have genuine interest in the Mara. And so we provide these NFTs for them to basically buy. By them buying this, basically they get onboarded onto the app and they get to basically be connected to the Mara. So the funds that are generated from these activities will be directly used in boma reinforcement activities. So how that happens is that we have basically a disbursement mechanism. This works basically by a stakeholder. In this case, the only stakeholders we are using for the purpose of the MVP are the guardians. So a stakeholder would initiate an order to disburse the funds. In future, of course, we will include all stakeholders, which are the conservancies, organizations, elders, and basically any other relevant stakeholder. But basically, once this request has been made, the request contains the name of that disbursement order, and bomas that are suggested to be included in this enforcement effort, and the budget. So the budget should be an amount that is less than or equal to funds that have been raised. So once that has been done, stakeholders should confirm or basically agree on that, and then the funds will be disbursed to a wallet address. User levels. So basically, these friends of the Mara have levels based on their contribution. Now, these levels basically privy them to benefit from packs that have been donated by partners. Partners are a user type. A friend of the Mara can choose to be a partner. So a partner just means that they are choosing to donate to the packs of a user level. So this addresses the issue of incentives, the sustainability of this. So an example of a pack would be maybe a discount on one of maybe the hotels or camps in the Mara, or maybe a discount on a flight, or even a free flight from Nairobi to the Mara. So yeah, so we've covered partnerships and incentives. That's a form for a user adding, basically I'm joining in as a partner. Then you have boma management. So boma management is our way of basically logging and recording bomas. So we capture the name of the boma, the owner, the geolocation from ArcGIS, and that will just be put in manually, by the guardians, that is. And then we have the state of the bomas. So we will know which bomas are, the condition. Are they decent? Are they just okay? Are they poor, stroke urgent need of reinforcement, or are they good? Meaning that they've been reinforced and they work pretty well. Ideally, what will happen in the next iteration is that once a boma was reinforced through our funding, then the state of that boma should reflect as basically being reinforced or good. What I forgot to mention is that the artwork that we'll be using for the NFTs ideally should be sourced from children in the schools in the Mara, but we foresee a situation where there'll be high demand for those pieces of art, and we'll probably just source them from any school that can take part in this in the country. Of course, also in the future, we hope that these artists will get some proceeds from their pieces For sure. Yeah, so these are the team members, Kagwe, Peter. We conceptualized the idea for adoption through NFTs. Then that's the rest of the team, and the links are below. Thank you.
The problem today is humans and lions are dying. Lions are the apex predator to a globally valuable ecosystem threatened by drought, habitat loss, economic insecurity, and lack of proper funding. The urgency of this loss of life brings us to these core issues and the negotiation between human needs and wildlife needs. Our solution has three parts. First, a mobile phone app to collect data about conflict events. Second, education and engagement through art to tell the story of wildlife and its pressing needs. And third, a marketplace for experts and activists to propose and fund solutions. We sum all of this up by creating a brand new empathy DAO to foster permanent beneficial relationships between humans and predators. So we invite you to join the Empathy DAO. You can visit our live prototype today, the KWT Empathy DAO app, and create an account to get your lion avatar started on level 1. Your journey through the DAO is progressed by earning empathy points and leveling up. There are 2 main ways you can earn empathy: by completing missions in the mobile phone app or by donating in the marketplace. Missions on the app can be tasks for data collection, such as photos and field data about a lion death, or educational missions, such as visiting and viewing a lion exhibit at a local zoo. All these ways to earn empathy are designed to reward the people who care about the lions the most and do the most to benefit them. As you view artwork, learn about lions, participate in mitigation or data collection activities, you also are earning empathy points and leveling up. As you level up, you gain greater access within the DAO to abilities such as governance, proposing fundraisers, getting paid gigs, and exclusive chat rooms. The way the app actually works is through your mobile phone web browser. Each of these missions are listed in the Empathy DAO app, and each mission details exactly what you would need to do to earn these empathy points. For example, one task asks you to upload photos and investigate a report on a dead lion. Another educational example is to watch a documentary and complete a quiz. All of the empathy points that you rewarded are assigned through DAO governance and are redeemed once you verify your mission has been complete. Solutions funded by the marketplace also show up as special missions with cash rewards in addition to their empathy points. Finally, we have Prototype, the solutions marketplace, to allow experts and activists with the most empathy points to propose solutions by listing project pages. Project pages define a budget which assigns cash rewards for the missions required for project success. This works by having each task independently verified and supported with data and allowing for end-to-end transparency of funds to the impacts that they produce. These paid projects offer on the ground in Kenya job opportunities to locals to produce and install mitigation techniques which benefit humans, lions, or both. Projects that you fund also give you empathy points, which accrue to your philanthropic reputation, leading short-term tourists a path to long-term relationship with the humans and non-human life in Kenya. And next we will show a live demo. So here I am in the live prototype, and I start out on the homepage, which is my dashboard of missions available. So I'm logged into my personal or volunteer account, and you can see the different missions are listed here, and you can read more about what exactly is required for you to submit for that one. For example, this educational one, if I press start this task, it's asking for a location. If I refresh, it should know I already have location. It's just a short one-question quiz to verify that you've seen the documentary. And so I'll just write a test here and go ahead and submit.
I did want to mention, Hillary and Team Lua, who are an amazing team, the technical team from the Lua Conservancy, are having their own technical challenges getting in today. They have created already quite a lot, and so we will continue to consider their pitches due to their technical challenges accessing today. We'll take a look at their technology, but they're not able to present today as part of the formal pitch. I want to see too, as we wrap up, and I'm sensitive to everyone's time and very appreciative of all of the incredible work that's gone on over the past month on behalf of the whole Sovereign Nature Initiative team. I did want to see if maybe Irene or one of any of our other judges wanted just to say a few words about the month and what you've been seeing as a way of wrapping up.
I mean, it's been very interesting listening to the pitches, and I hope we get to see the team that's missed out. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to deliberating with my fellow judges, and thanks so much to the teams who presented this afternoon.
Absolutely. And anything else from Catherine or Sume or Caroline? Want to jump in and say anything else as we close out our session today?
Amazing stuff, great stuff. I think I'm getting excited in terms of the amazing outputs that the teams were able to create.
Thanks, Caroline.
I think this is very impressive. And as a youth leader in the conservation sector here in Kenya, to see a lot of young people now bridging, conservation and tech and innovation is quite encouraging. So good job to all of you. You're doing an incredible job in whatever you've created. And yeah, I hope we can bring all of these ideas to life.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is intergenerational, international, and interspecies collaboration. And again, thanks to all the teams that pitched today. We will be broadcasting again on Wednesday the results of the competition. But please know that we definitely regard all who participated as winners and as viable technologies that should be developed much, much further. You've already accomplished a lot, and thank you so much for participating in this hackathon. We love to have hackathons where we can all meet in person and share food and time and space, but this digital way of collaborating allows us to connect across great distances and work collaboratively in new ways. So thank you for joining us for this special hackathon, and we'll see you Wednesday.